In the words of Eminem, quote, I don't want to sound like a broken record every time I break a record, but, end quote. But I've been doing this for a year now, and within that year, I was told that podcasts tend to die at 12 episodes. My episode 11 was a backstory into my life, how I became a wrestling fan, how it became therapeutic for someone with a traumatic past. It was a fantasy for me to get away from the environment of parents arguing. I put my soul into that episode, and from that moment on, I said, this show is not going anywhere. Fast forward to episode 22. We changed our brand. The show was called All Things Wrestling because I wanted to make a show about all things wrestling. Problem with that is that it was already taken by 100 blogs, a few Facebook pages, some Instagram profiles with a combination of underscores and numbers, and a lot of podcasts as well. They didn't talk to each other apparently. They didn't. Okay. I guess not. So we had to come up with a name. And with that name change came the entire lineup of the show as well. I like change. I have ADHD also. I can't sit still. I need to do things. And I can't keep the show the same for more than the 20 episodes. It needs to thrive. It needs to adapt. It needs to evolve. It has become exactly that. From just talking about the 12 hours of wrestling shows that we would review in a weekly roundup, to doing TV shows like The Rock, Young Rock, to movies like No Holds Barred, to toys like the one we did in Michael's basement, and he brought out his old action figures, to wrestling and other forms of medium. Wrestlers don't just stop at wrestling, and neither should we. My usual listeners, I know you heard it, but this feels like updating my resume to the new listeners. The younger listeners, the listeners that are from other countries that I have found that podcast. Thank you, by the way. For the month of October, I wanted to do a 30 days of horror and tell you what movies I was watching. I'm a big horror fan as well. So every day I posted on Twitter and Instagram a horror movie I was watching that starred a wrestler. 30 days of horror with wrestlers. Oh, they were horrible. They were D-rated. They were mainstream. Some of them. At the end of the month, though, I did an episode of 15 of those movies, and I described how they were. A year later, now, last year to this year, still going strong. What is this? What episode is this? What episode are we on? Episode 86? Episode 86. I have given you more than 5,000 minutes of my time. No, I don't want to say it like that. Let's put it into another perspective. You, the listener, the one that pressed play and gave this podcast a chance, have heard me ramble on about wrestling, TV shows, movies, video games, and my diabetes, I might add, for more than 5,000 minutes. 3,500 downloads later, I feel heard. It doesn't stop there. The validity of all this is when someone tells you that you have a podcaster voice and you get that tingly sensation and you become proud of yourself. You pat yourself on the back. Literally doing that right now. Patting myself on the back. Good job. I made it. I have fucking arrived. Excuse my language, but I am excited. Over the course of the last 3 months, I have put my full attention on this podcast and added more distribution sites and even to other countries. So here we are, 2023. This isn't even my final form yet. Time to evolve some more. Last year I gave myself goals. This year will be the same. 2023, I'm taking it up to 6K downloads, more episodes, interview with more friends, those that I haven't talked to in years. I'm gonna interview wrestlers. That's my goal. Whether they will be new, independent, or professional legends, it will happen. I have to make this goal happen. Attainable goals. For those that don't know, linktree.com/ from under the apron. Go check it out. I have updated it. I have a webpage where you can find 23 listening streaming platforms and listen to this podcast. 10 other platforms are not on that list. When I said I was being listened to worldwide, I meant it. It doesn't stop there, nor it should. So I've had this blog on this app that I've been a part of for more than 12 years now, and just recently they've installed a live feature. Streamers from all over social media came to check it out for themselves. You got the Kick people, you got the Meet Me's, you got the Twitchers, you got whatever other form of streaming that these people do. Well, when I found out about it, I put my name in that hat and added podcaster to that list. I've been on this blog for 12 years. Why should I not reap the special benefits of the streaming live site? Speaking of which, our friend at the Moz Pod have a blog on this site also, so I'm hoping they get the chance to use the live feature as well. It'll work, my brothers. It will work. And while we're at it, let's get my podcast colleagues on this app. Yes, let's do that. If you're a podcaster and you're listening to this show and you want to do a live and see what it's all about, come talk to me. I will send you there. Such good vibes. More fans. How about that? More fans. I digress. So I happen to do a live version of this episode that you're about to hear for the second time. I say second time because this episode was scheduled to be after Monday Night Raw's 30th anniversary show, and I did that, and I was recording, but for some reason the app I was using to record decided to eat up the episode, and it got deleted. Shame on me. So I decided on waiting the next day in the afternoon when people would actually show up. What you will hear in this episode is my first time doing a live broadcast of the show and watching the chat, interacting with the chat, interacting with comments of anybody, just talking to me directly if anybody happens to do that. This right here is the next step into the evolution of this podcast. I will continue to do the same episodes, but I will also do some of these episodes live because that's a big step into adapting to the new scene. Hi, I'm Ernie, and this is my evolution. This is the evolution of From Under the Apron. This episode of Under the Apron is sponsored by Anchor. If you haven't heard yet, Anchor by Spotify is the easiest way to make a podcast with all the tools you need, all in one place. just type in anchor.fm on your browser and start creating that podcast that you've been talking about starting all year long. Take advantage of Anchor's creation tools. You can record, edit, add music, or any type of audio you like right from your phone or computer. Anchor will then distribute your podcast on many different listening platforms, such as Spotify, Apple, Google, or even Stitcher, and that's just to name a few. It's everything you need to make a podcast. And want to know what's the best part about it? Absolutely, totally free. Join us and download the Anchor app on your phone or go to anchor.fm on your browser to get started right away. Link will be in the show notes.
Hi, everyone. This is JJ, the co-founder of Good Pods. If you haven't heard of it yet, Good Pods is like Goodreads or Instagram, but for podcasts. It's new, it's social, it's different, and it's growing really fast. There are more than 2 million podcasts, and we know that it is impossible to figure out what to listen to. On Good Pods, you follow your friends and podcasters to see what they like. That is the #1 way to discover new shows and episodes. You can find Good Pods on the web or download the app. Happy listening.
All right. So, I had a big show. Maybe a 2-hour show. I don't know. I had a big show. I'm doing better today. I was exhausted last night after I did the show because I was doing the show on the app. 2 hours. Maybe an hour and a half into it, somebody comes in. Like, obviously, everybody came in. I would talk, pause it, or just leave it recording and then, like, pay attention to the chat. But the night I recorded it, I paused it, looked at the chat, and started having a conversation with this person who... Like, we started talking about the entire show. It was awesome. It was great. Don't get me wrong. I enjoyed that conversation. I wanted him to even, like, get on the box. Dude, you want to get on the box? Let's talk about this. Let's talk about what happened. It's like, oh, no, I'm tired. I was like, all right. Then I look over to my my operating table. And apparently, the whole show got deleted. And I'm sitting there like, oh, you son of a bitch. But it's like, whatever. All right, let it go. It's no big deal. I'll do it again. I'll try to watch it again and do it again. But that didn't happen. I'm too exhausted for that. Okay, so here's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna do something different from now on. And I said it. I've been saying this before. So here's the difference. Whenever you hear my podcast, from I think episode 10 on, it's me reading off of what I had on a script, basically saying, all this other stuff. 10 before, first 10 episodes, God, they're horrible. It's me mumbling. It's been a year. So I've basically gotten used to this. So now, now that I have this platform right here, a chat, something to hear other people tell me if I'm doing something wrong or anything, I'm going to do it differently. So, I'm adapting, basically. I'm adapting my resources. I'm going from 10 episodes in, I did this. 10 episodes later, I did the other thing. Now I'm evolving, so to speak, into this. Welcome, everybody, to another awesome episode where I try to hide from the rest of the world and just hang out here and try to record from under the apron. Monday Night Raw 30th anniversary, or as they all said, Monday Night Raw Triple X. It was fun. I'm gonna get to that, but before I do, shout out to the person that came in yesterday. I'm just gonna shout her out anyways. Island Girl 33. She wanted to know how you change your name on here, so I showed her how. I gave her my phone. I showed her my phone and everything. So I did that. Like, all right, here's how you do. She said thank you. She left me something. And I said, okay. He's like, all right, cool. No, you didn't have to do that, but all right, cool, awesome. I'm gonna shout you out now. You're gonna be forever shouted out on my podcast just for doing that. So cool. Um, so let's that is out of the way. Who's in the chat? Brenda Lamore, one, of course. Miniature Dancer 51. Did I say Lamore right? Kyle, who was just here earlier, K Sizeman 88, and Aquarius Bullshit. Yes, that's it. Brenda Lamore Wood, she's in the chat also. All right, guys, collectively as a unit, because you're all part of the squad now, from under the apron. Too sweet. Wee! I don't know what I'm doing. All right, so last night, or Monday Night Raw's episode, 30th episode, 30 years. Can't believe. How old were you in 30 years ago? Hmm? How old were we all 30 years ago? Can't believe it's been 30 years on Monday Night Raw with at least a few episodes, probably some Christmas episodes, but at least two episodes where one of them was somewhat of a dedication and then they scrapped that, and the other one was, you know, like we gotta do the show for the dogs. We can't show Monday Night Raw this week. So there was that. You all know the episode I'm talking about where it was scrapped. It was a dedication show, but then they're like, no, no, we're not doing this again. Ever. We all know that. Uh, Before I even continue, Hydrangea Water, what's up? Yo! I won't tell my age, but I was younger. Yeah, we all were pretty young at the time. 30 years ago, when Monday Night Raw first premiered. You are? That's awesome, dude. Thank you. Too sweet me. Yeah, I'm never gonna finish the show. Living legend. Shut up. You're a living legend. No way. Look at you. Look at you. Alright, so Mr. Anti-Hero himself, y'all know who when if you listen to the show, I always put in the anti-hero song, Taylor Swift, whenever I'm mentioning him, whenever I refer to him, because he's a fucking douchebag. We don't like him. Like, even though he was the first match I've ever seen in my life at such a young age, that, I have to say, like, yeah, unfortunately, it was him. Hulk Hogan versus Andre the Giant at WrestleMania 3. It was a replay. I think it was that year, but it was a replay of that, so I just had to, like, a friend of mine, um, showed me this tape. I saw it, and ever since then, I've just been like a big wrestling fan. So that was the first match ever that I've ever watched, Hulk Hogan versus Andre the Giant, and it's like ever since then I've been hooked. I've been loving it. But over the years, man, over the years, it's been crazy with him. He's toxic. Like, and this is the reason why I put that song in there. Like, hi, it's me. I'm the problem. Cause it's really him. So he opens up the show. Manny, what did you think of that part? Because I know you enjoyed it. You were laughing your ass off. Um, because I know I saw it and it was all like, oh crap. And then we're just like, okay, whatever. Um, he comes out with a dead mic, doesn't even work at all. He's talking, trying to talk to the fans, and then doesn't even work at all. It's just horrible mic. You can see a little side producer coming out from the side, giving him a good mic. He starts talking, and everybody booed. Immediately, I'm just thinking, it's like, they don't like him backstage. No, fuck. That's probably Triple H doing that. It's funny. It's hilarious. Um, he opens up the show. He leaves, and like, something better could have come out of that instead. But mm, I guess not. Like we could have seen something better other than Hulk Hogan. He wasn't even on the first episode. Why? If anything, he transferred over to WCW, and he was one of the reasons why uh, Eric Bischoff kept winning the war in 83 weeks. So why have Hulk Hogan on this? Open up the show like he matters or something. I get he was part of the business, but blah. Um, After that, we hear Baby Rexha's theme.
I'm good, yeah, I'm feeling alright. Baby, I'ma have the best fucking night of my life. And wherever it takes me, I'm down for the ride. Baby, don't you know I'm good, yeah, I'm feeling alright. 'Cause
It was a montage of Raw over the years. Everything from The Rock, Chris Jericho, Stone Cold Steve Austin, Triple H, the DX era, the Suck It, the Hulk Hogan, some Hulk Hogan, the Hell Yes. Let's go! Hydrant Water, Too Sweet Me. The Yes movement, the Occupy Wall Street stuff that they did back then, but in the ring, the betrayals. Good lord, the betrayals. Seth Rollins betraying the Shield. All right, so if you see me looking this way, it's because I'm looking at my notes. I have notes. I'm not doing the whole reading off the thing anymore. I'm gonna try not to do that for this episode. See how that goes. 7,000 likes. That's awesome. Thank you. Too sweet. Yeah, Aquarius, Hydrangea. Sweet. All right. You see the Miz winning the championship belt from Randy Orton, and the Miz girl doing the whole little little girl that was pissed off that night. You see Brock Lesnar guy. Um, when Brock Lesnar came back to WWE from the UFC and like showed up out of the blue, there was this guy dressed in a tribal shirt with the tribal thing right here, and like he's a bro, like yeah, bro, like always saying bro. So he just comes out and you see him going like, "Yeah, Brock Lesnar." That's the Brock Lesnar guy. He's his number one fan and shit. It was mostly Attitude Era and Stone Cold Steve Austin and stuff. Um, and of course, some highlights of Becky Lynch as the man getting bloodied by Nia Jax and just doing her own thing throughout the years. And that was that for that. Soap Goat. Hey, Soap Goat. That's fun. After that, the Bloodline comes out. You got the Usos, Jay and Jimmy Uso, the current unified tag team champions. They've held the Raw tag team championships for 247 days, and then the SmackDown tag team championships for 554 days. Well, as of this broadcast, I was probably gonna post it on Wednesday. As of this episode, it's 249 days and 556 days. Um, After that, you see Solo Sikoa, you see Paul Heyman, you even see Sami Zayn. They're just going, they're coming in there, and then Roman Reigns with the Undisputed Championship, Universal, who had it for like 876 days. That's about 3 years. No, he doesn't. He showed up to wrestle. Dude is bald from that up there. He turned bald. There's some balding spot, but he showed up. He was only in there for like a few minutes, like the ending of it. But he doesn't do anything big anymore. He's no longer "you can't see me" John Cena. He's just "I gotta go to work to Hollywood" John Cena. Um, so he's been having it for 500 for 876 days. The longest he's almost there as being a top five performer. The longest, of course, the top five people are Pedro Morales, who's had it for 1,027 days back in the 70s. This is old school golden era stuff. Bruno Sammartino, who's in there twice at number four, 1,237 days. Hulk Hogan at 1,474 days. Bob Backlund, who's 2,135 days. And Bruno Sammartino again at number one with possibly 8 or 10 years, 2,803 days. Um, so, of course, I'm a numbers guy. I got to do the math every time. I look at analytics, I look at math stuff, I look at numbers, and, you know, I'm sorry, I'm talking with my hands. Uh, so, 876 days. So, in order to tie up or break Pedro Morales' record, he'd have to have it until the summer. So, hopefully he gets there. Like, I want to see him get there. They all come out, the Bloodline come out, and they are flooded with Uzi and ECW chants. The ECW chants are, of course, for Paul Heyman. They're in Philadelphia right now. They're in Philly. They're in Paul Heyman's old stomping grounds. Uh, they all sit down at this table. They look like they're about to sign a contract again. They look like they're about to have a meeting, but it's really a court for some reason. Paul says, "Get grabs the mic," and he looks at the crowd and he starts doing this whole about to cry thing, and he's all like, "I understand, you're chanting three letters that are near and dear to my heart, and I commend you for that. But I just want to say that ECW is dead, and so is Sami Zayn." And they stare at hole at him. Sammy's all like, "What did I do? What's going on?" Paul called him a Judas, a betrayer. He said something in Italian, which I didn't quite get. I was trying to, because, translation. Um, he says, "I have on good authority that you betrayed us. Been, you're a mole. You're this and that." And he referenced an old ECW pay per view, and he says, "So tonight you're gonna be on trial because you're guilty as charged." All right, let's go back over here real quick. Bogman 808, welcome. Something you forgot, Jaded, welcome. Ugly Epidemic, welcome. Too Sweet. I live across the street from a church, and it goes off every 15 minutes, every hour. And then I have this grandfather clock, which goes off every 15 minutes. So, like so if you see me pause or anything, that's why. That's the reason. All right. So, never late for anything. Exactly. I know, but I am. Like I'm the last minute guy that shows up everywhere late. It's like, wait, what time is it? It's like the bell ring. Yeah, I gotta go. I'm saved by the bell. Um, like I'm listening to it right now. It's going off, and it's 6 o'clock, meaning there's like 20 bells going off at the moment. Usually you hear it. Usually you don't, because I'm on a different setting. And it's gone. All right, so Paul Heyman has this video package of evidence that Sami Zayn was conspiring with Kevin Owens. And he shows us the package, and it's they've just been planting seeds to where like he does something deliberate, like he does his own thing, but they making it seem like he's conspiring. There's a footage of Sami Zayn running away when the Usos are getting jumped. There's the video of at War Games when the Bloodline is celebrating together, but Sami Zayn's on top of the cage doing the whole like one thing, and Paul Heyman is making it seem like, yeah, he's you celebrated by yourself, and then he does the whole for life, which is an NWO thing, but he does it like this and then like that, and Paul Heyman makes it seem like that's the signal for conspiring against other people and all this shit. So there's that. And then there was a promo he did a few weeks back where he bumped into Roman Reigns, and they make it seem like you tried to kill Roman Reigns, you bumped into him. It's like, come on. They made it seem too big about it. Um, so they all look at Sami Zayn for his rebuttal or anything like that. Roman Reigns is just sitting there and staring at a hole at the camera because he doesn't look at anybody. He just stares, sits there and stares. Samuel gets on the mic and he says, "You know what? I had nothing else to say. You went out of your way to do this. That's whatever. I don't know what to say. I have no defense. Sorry. It's like I can't." Roman grabs the mic. It's like, "What do you mean, man? Like I invited you to my family. I invited you to my group. I invited you to the island of relevancy, and you had no defense and all this." It's like, what the hell is wrong with you? And then he freaking yells, "Solo!" Which is the big bouncer guy who's just standing there with his arms crossed, and he looks at his cousin, Big Dog, and Roman's all like, and he just stares at him, and then he looks over at Sammy, and he's all like, "Are you serious?" Because he wasn't gonna do it right away. He was just like, "Okay." So he walks around Sami Zayn, and he's just like, "All right." So he does. Solo Sikoa is the youngest cousin, but he's also like he loved his uncle and his uncle Watumaga. Forgot his Jamal. Uh, he you would used to do this Samoan Spike as his finisher, where he had a taped up thumb, and he would drive his thumb onto the neck, right here, sternum, whatever, and that would finish you off. So he walks over to Sami Zayn right behind him and does this like grabbing over the shoulder and raises his hand. And he looks at Roman still like, "Are you sure you want me to do this, boss?" And like, "Yeah." It's like, "All right." So he raises his hand and he's about to freaking hit it. Jey Uso comes with the saves. Like, "Nah, man, nah." Like there was a loud pop. I freaking popped so loud for that. It was awesome. Um, so Jay says, "I have a defense. I have a defense for Sammy. I put a video package of my own." And they show footage of Sammy just doing stuff for the team. He cost RK Bro, Randy Orton, and Matt Riddle, that was his name, the tag team titles. He helped the Usos win the tag team championship belts, retained them. He did all this. He took one for the team. He took a bullet for Roman. He took a bullet for um, Solo. And then the War Games thing when Sammy betrayed Kevin Owens. They won the match. They won the entire thing for that. And then Jay says Sammy took so many bullets for the bloodline. Man, is bulletproof. Jaden says he loves Sammy as a brother. Everyone pops again. Everybody is popping again. And then he says, he's 100. Throw your ones in the sky if you want Sammy to stay. And then you hear Sammy Uso, Sammy Uso, Sammy Uso. So everybody's chanting Sammy Uso, Sammy Uso. They're all Usi. Aquarius bullshit. Thank you for the 100. Everybody's chanting for Sammy Uso. The tribal chief finally grabs the mic again and he says, "You know what? I thought about it. I find you not guilty." for now. But I also want you to understand, I don't want to see you after this, after tonight, and I don't want to see you until Monday night, until Saturday night at the Royal Rumble, and then it will be your last test to see if you're still with us. Yes, yes. It was 1 hour. It ran over an hour. Um, I mean, like I get it. Some of it shouldn't have been like it was the 10-minute entrance actually. This is 10-minute entrance with the whole thing, and then the entire match after that. Um, you know what they should have canceled? Hulk Hogan coming out. Oh, thank you for the favorite, Queen Lady Ka. Yeah, they should have just canceled Hulk Hogan coming out, cause um, and then Sonya versus Bianca. Yeah, they kind of should have canceled that one because I still don't see no chemistry there for Bianca, or not Bianca, but Sonya. You get a favorite for that. Oh, girl, guy. Please tell me your pronouns. I apologize if I went out of line there. Well, thank you. Oh, Queen Lady Ka, thank you for the sun and too sweet. Villain, thank you for the sun. Too sweet, my guy. What's that? I don't know. Too sweet? That? Or was it something else? Self wrestling fan over here. Dude, you're in good hands. You're in a good spot. Little, uh, wrestling fan here too. I do podcasts. I do. This is my first time actually doing the podcast on streaming to see how it'll actually work. To see, it's like trying to get a community here. Oh, I said, what are your pronouns? It's like I didn't want to say like assume stuff. It's like, I said, yeah, thanks girl and thanks guy. So just hopefully you'll tell me. Welcome to the live. Too sweet. Um, so you're right. It was the Usos vs Judgment Day match next. Uh, it was it was a cool match. I mean, up until the part where Jimmy supposedly hurt his leg, and they didn't show a replay because they know they fucked up. Um, by that jump in the oh, sorry, by that jump, and then you see Jimmy land, and it's like it didn't hurt. Come on, don't bullshit it. So they take Jimmy to the back, and here comes Adam Pierce saying, like, so since you're hurt, does that mean that you get to forfeit the match? That means we gotta take the titles off of you. Sammy's all like, no, 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 wait, I can do it, I can do it, I can take his place. So then Adam Pierce says, well, if I did it for the Judgment Day, I can definitely do it for you, especially here on Raw 30th anniversary. So let the match go. They do the whole match, and again, Sammy is freaking. I thought he was gonna. So I have someone in chat saying that they know Godiva. They know all the Glow Girls, and then that she still talks to Godiva, and we all know who Godiva is if you listened to the podcast before. Uh, friend miniature dancer 51 is laughing her ass off. Whatever. Uh, nobody can get me this right until now. Dude, that would be like a dream interview. Like I don't know what to say, but still. I'll give you a minute to process this, and then I'll let you know if I want to if I want to get in there. Like, cause it's been a year since I've had this podcast. Uh, Sergeant Slaughter's following me on Twitter. That's the only big name I can say. A few indie wrestlers are following me on Instagram. But it's like one of the goals from last that I said last year is like, all right, I'm gonna get this show up to 3,000 listeners, And then this year, I'm going to get it up to 6,000 listeners. But, there's another goal for me. It's like, I'm going to interview at least one wrestler. So like, attainable goals, basically. So like, I wasn't expecting like a legend. I was thinking like, all right, I'm going to interview an indie wrestler, see what he's about. So yeah, that's cool, cool, cool. Yeah, thank you for the love bears. Thank you for the cherries. What was that? Thank you for the hearts. That's amazing. Uh, After you love the AI filter, I did that. Cool, 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 cool. She is. So after that, there was a big vignette. JBL and Baron Corbin come out. Laughing because this was hilarious. Because I'm sitting there with my daughter. We're watching it. The Godfather comes out, and she knows who the newer people are, of course. But my daughter's all like, "Who's that?" I'm like, "The Godfather." "Who's the Godfather?" I'm like, the Godfather." So she's all like, "JBL's Godfather?" I'm like, "Yes, yes. That's all you need to know. That's all they need to know." um, yeah, I'm not. We're skipping the Attitude Era for now, and like her favorite right now is Dominic. You know why? So I'm just like, girl, you just better not waken something in you. Because if I see some little fool coming out looking like Dominic with the hood, with the cholo stuff, like, nah. It's like, I said that on Twitter. One of my freaking Twitter followers all like, let her live. It's like, fine. So, Ron Simmons comes out and like out of the blue, and it's the APA door, and you see the door right there. Just like, oh, he's coming out the door. It's like, oh, it must be like this whole Las Vegas strip club thing. And he's JBL and Corbin are like, let us in, let us in. It's like, I can't do that. Like it's just you can, but I don't know who he is. That's Baron Corbin. It's like, I don't see a Barry Cordy here. It's like, no. Like, all right. Um, JBL comes out with the money, gives them to the Ron Simmons. Like, that's what I'm talking about. All right, cool. Puts it in his pocket. They open the door. They go inside, and then the camera does this thing where it's all like backs up, tracks, and they show the nothing, nothing. There's no wall or anything. There's just the door. They do the whole segment of when the APA used to have a door and everybody would like knock on the door instead of go around it and just through the walls. Like, can't you see the door there? Like, all right. So they do the whole thing and then they pan over to what's going on over here, and it's the entire Legends, I guess, and some of the new people playing poker. I saw Ted DiBiase, IRS, Medusa, or Orlando Blades, DDP. There's some new people there too. And yeah. They go to a commercial break. They come back. They show clips of old school Raw again throughout the year. Mentioned that already.
You're listening to Mama Murdered a Podcast. I'm your host, AB. Mama Murdered a Podcast is a podcast where me, the mama, will be killing it on the podcast. We'll be taking a deep dive into things that are hard to talk about and even harder to believe that these things actually happen in the world that we live in. This entire podcast will be a trigger warning. I'll be talking about triggering topics while I dive headfirst into a lot of the cases that I'll be covering. New episodes will be released every week on Wednesdays because nobody likes Mondays and because Fridays are for day drinking and barbecues. Some of the case topics will be murder, of course, serial killers, like Dennis Rader, the BTK killer, missing persons cases, like 5-year-old Summer Wells, who vanished from her own yard in broad daylight in the middle of June in Tennessee in 2021. And especially the ones where it kind of seems like they just vanished into thin air, like Brian Schaefer. He walked into a bar, but he never walked out. He's still never been seen again. I'll also be covering cold cases and lesser-known cases. Join me every Wednesday to talk about all things tragic, murder, and things that happen in the downright ugliest sides of society. If you like what you hear and you want to support the podcast, you can rate me on Spotify. You can also leave a review and rating on Apple Podcast. You can follow me on Twitter and Instagram at murdered_mama. All of these things are free and they only take about a second to do, and it really does help grow the podcast. If you have any case suggestions, please send them my way. You can send them to the email address mamamurderedapodcast@gmail.com.
Hey guys, this is Ernie. We're going to get to the next segment in a few, but let me tell you about Dark Fate Creations, okay? Dark Fate Creations would like to invite you to a new and unique experience in candles and wax melts. They hand pour and create every single product using quality, clean, and safe ingredients. Their candles are filled with romantic wooden wicks and made with a coconut soy blend of waxes for a safer, cleaner, and longer burn. The designs are unique and beautiful, but more importantly, they smell absolutely amazing. And the variety of fragrances have something for everyone. Hand poured in Grass Valley, California. Check them out at darkfatecreations.com. Link of the site in the show notes below. Alright, after the break, LA Knight comes out when, his whole shtick. Yeah, let me talk to you. He does his whole thing. He gets in the ring, says, whoever wants to come out and whoever wants to come out and unless he's talking about you, dude. Whoever wants to come. Devilist. Yeah, that's fun. LNA comes out, he gets on the mic and says, yeah, whoever wants to come out and do this stuff, have a match, let's go, let's do it. You hear the Undertaker's dong entrance, the old school Undertaker, and then it turned into Kid Rock, American Badass Undertaker. He comes out in his motorcycle, in his Harley, goes around the ring, stops, gets in the ring, and LA Knight's all like, nope, I'm out. So he gets out, and he's like, nah, I ain't messing with you. He goes to the back, and the lights go out again. Bray Wyatt appears. LA Knight is all like, nah, I'm not even messing with you either. So he goes back towards the ring, and then Undertaker grabs him by the neck, chokes him and stuff, and then you see Bray Wyatt get in the ring, and Taker looks at Bray Wyatt, and he's all like, pushes him into Bray Wyatt. Bray Wyatt is about to do his finisher move, takes him, gives him a kiss. Sister Abigail takes him out. So Undertaker stares at Bray Wyatt. They do this whole stare where they get into each other's face, and Undertaker whispers something into Bray Wyatt's ear, and then walks away. So everybody's saying, like, what did he say? What did he say? It's probably passing of the torch. Undertaker just says, like, here, I'm giving you all my supernatural stuff. You can have all my supernatural stuff. It's yours now. They go to the back. Bray Wyatt has this whole standing ovation stuff. Poker game again with Alundra Blaze and DDP getting into it. After that, we see the Damage Control come out. Bayley versus Becky Lynch. It was supposed to be a Hell in a Cell match, but no. We just discussed it over here earlier. The show, Hogan or the Bloodline went on too long, and they had to scrap something. So they scrapped this one. It should have been this one. Or maybe we get to see this at the Royal Rumble. Who knows? There's another montage of Raw, and then they go into a break. Up next, are you ready? Because I am. You think you can tell me what to do? Oh man, it was such an old school. You met Goldust. Okay. Oh my shit. Yeah, I agree. Um, I know. So they do this whole thing with the old school DX song, with, and they all come out. It's Triple H, Shawn Michaels, X Pac, Road Dogg, and apparently No Daddy S. He's out there scissoring the Acclaimed on AEW. So in his place is Kurt Angle. In his place is Kurt Angle. So he gets in there with them, and they do the whole thing of like, all right, we're gonna do this, right? We're like, all right, cool. Of course, they're gonna do the whole, are you ready? And then they look at Kurt Angle and they're like, hey, do you know how this works? Like, yeah, I think so. And they give the mic. Triple H is all like, "Are you ready?" And then Kurt Angle's like, "Was this a test? Was that it?" It's like, all right, never mind. Um, Underneath Kurt Angle's shirt, he pulls out a DX shirt. He's DX tonight. Of course, because Road Dogg was doing the whole, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, uh, Degeneration X, proudly brings to you. It's old school tag team world. The Road Dogg, Jesse James. The no badass, sorry, but the crowd still chanted badass and everything else, so that was fun. And they're about to say it. They get on the mic, and I'm just like, no, let's pause this for a moment. Somebody's still watching. It's like I muted it for a little bit, but Imperium comes out instead. They interrupt. They call DX a bunch of degenerates, obviously, with no respect for the business, much like them. And then he says, like, you, any three of you against us. And Triple H is all like, oh yeah? Gets in his face, like, I'm retired. I have a bad heart. Sorry, can't do it. Sean, you want to do it? And then Sean's all like, because he does super kick and all that stuff. So he does his thing. He sidesteps, stares like, nah, can't do it. Go to X Pac, who says like, too old for this man. Road Dogg looks at us like, I put on a couple pounds. I can't. So he goes over there, and then they're like, all right, team meeting, team meeting. So they huddle up. They look at Kurt Angle again. They huddle up again. And then Triple H's all like, we volunteer Kurt Angle. Kurt Angle's all like, nope. No, he's not. Why? Uh, so Triple H says he wishes there was someone here who would fight them. Seth Rollins comes out, and then Triple H says, well, now you need a partner. Like, wish there was somebody here that could be your partners. The Street Profits come out. Like, all right, cool. I mean, is there someone else here that could like make sense of it all? Teddy Long, Teddy freaking Long. Like, I don't care what happened to the rest of the show. Teddy Long did it for me. I was done. I said, yes, that is the best thing ever right there. Teddy Long comes out, does his little dance, his old man dance, and it's all like, well, playa, like you, um, Emporium's gonna face the Street Profits and Seth Rollins in a tag team match. Like, all right, so Triple H's like, well, I guess all we need is one more thing, a guest referee. So Kurt Angle takes off his DX shirt. Underneath is the Olympics, red, white, and blue, plus looking like a rush shirt. He's like, I'll do it. It's a big match, which Imperium ends up losing. But then you have Jerry Lawler on commentating, and it was fun. It was fun for the night.
I'm here to get drunk.
That's right. I have about half a cup of vodka. Drink.
Wait, are we live? Hi, I'm Jessica.
One professional skill that I would really like to learn is stripping.
I'm Sonia.
Because, I'm okay with not being artistic. I'm just that's cool. And I'm Dawn Marie.
And we are Opinionated Lushes. I'll make a tomato vodka soup.
Ooh.
Also known as a Caesar.
Once a week, we get together to drink and talk shit. We start our episodes off with a question and a drink word. We usually never stay on topic or wait for the drink word to start drinking.
You're already breaking the game.
There's a new episode of Opinionated Lushes every Friday on all streaming platforms.
Just testing mattresses. Why isn't that a job?
It probably is.
An unedited episode Saturday on YouTube.
You just want to tell people you love them?
Yeah, sometimes you need it.
It just sounds dangerous.
Have a cocktail suggestion?
A topic of interest.
A good drinking word?
Feel free to DM us on Instagram or email us at opinionatedlushes@gmail.com. If I don't know you, I will.
So go ahead, grab a drink, any kind of drink, and get ready to laugh with us and share our drunken opinions.
And I don't know if it was back from commercial break. Not even going to be saying back from commercial break. Another segment with JBL and Baron Corbin. That was the best thing of the night, actually. It's just JBL and Baron Corbin trying to get into the poker game, playing poker with everybody in the locker room, the Hall of Famers and all that stuff, and then winning the game. They win the fucking poker game, and they have all this money in their hands, and then IRS shows up. And I'm like, oh man, that's horrible. And it's just like real life where you have a bunch of money and you're about to pay your bills, but then the IRS shows up, take all your money, and just give you $100 left. Like, this is what I started with. What are you talking about? Yeah. So IRS takes all the money. And I'm just like, damn, that's the real fucking world right there. Ted DiBiase is with him, as you all know, part of the $1 Million Inc. or Money Inc. Tag Team Champions, $1 Million Inc. Incorporated stable. Back when DiBiase was still wrestling, and then he turns into a manager. He does his laugh that I've always loved. He done his laugh before. I've asked him to do his laugh. He done it for me. I loved it. I enjoyed it. And it's right next to Virgil, who's just trying to hustle his stuff. Like, nah, man, I already talked to you before. I already bought some. I didn't buy anything from you, but he gave me the camel clutch, the $1 Million Dream. So, dude gave me the $1 Million Dream once. It's fine. I don't need anything from you. I already have my the way I see him. Ted DiBiase does his laugh, and I'm just like, thank you, sir. I really appreciate it. That's over with. Bobby Lashley gets interviewed, and he's talking about Austin Theory. MVP interrupts him in his interview, and he's all trying to get the Hurt Business back together again. But Lashley says he's handling his own business by standing on his own, so no Hurt Business. It's not going to happen again. Shoot. Back from commercial break, Ric Flair, the Woo comes out, and it's like, all right, cool. What's he going to say? Instead, I thought it was going to be big thing. He introduces Charlotte Flair to everybody. Charlotte Flair comes out with the women's championship around her waist 14 times. She gets in the ring and starts naming basically all the divas, all the women's wrestlers, saying that they paved the way. Lita, Trish Stratus, all of them. But apparently it's not good enough for the Bella Twins, who later on were live streaming also and were talking bad. It's like, oh, they don't want to mention Sasha Banks. Mercedes? Oh, she's too over. I'll have a video of it pretty soon in the edit. Let's see where it's at. And then you had Bianca Belair coming out. Bianca Belair comes out when, like, look at you coming on Raw and on my show and all this stuff. Like, yeah, okay, cool. Champ, they're hyping each other up. Sonya Deville comes out after that. It's all like, I don't like both of you. And Charlotte's all like, you know what? You handle this. This is your show. You handle this one. I already handled her myself over there on SmackDown. So they do that of Sonya Deville versus Bianca Belair, which nobody liked. Everybody was just against because there was no chemistry there for some reason. So Bianca Belair wins that match, of course. Then you have Alexa Bliss doing her interview. Freaking looks hot and amazing. After that is the commercial for the WWE 2K23 video game, which I'm gonna get eventually. March 14th, 3 covers. It'd be freaking hilarious if one of those covers ended up being nobody on the cover. The 3 covers had John Cena, 3 phases. 1 with Big Match John, 2 is the Thugonomics John, and 3, I think it was what John looks like now. But it'd be funny if one of those covers ended up being with just nothing on it. And just him. After that is Miz TV. He comes out, says, oh my God, I can't believe I wasn't involved in this. You guys didn't put any... Like, they showed the Miz girl, him winning the championship, all that stuff. By this time, I really wanted the show to end. So Kevin Owens comes out, stuns Miz, does a promo on Roman Reigns, takes, and then he says, Roman, does a promo on Roman, gonna beat his ass. He's gonna take the belt or die trying. So it's gonna be a big ass thing on Saturday, hopefully. Too sweet. Finally, the main event of the night, the match. Austin Theory defending his United States Championship against Bobby Lashley, who... It was a pretty freaking solid match. It was a no DQ match, and it was pretty freaking solid. I loved it. I wanted it to have an actual ending, but unfortunately it didn't happen because Brock Lesnar decided to show up, come out, and destroy both of them, and the match there. There was no contest. I mentioned it earlier before, Brock Lesnar guy doing the whole thing. He was sitting front row, right by the aisle. And the missed opportunity right there could have been Brock Lesnar and Brock Lesnar fan guy just saying hi to each other. But it didn't happen. Instead, we get no winner. We get this. But at the same time, best part of the night was Teddy Long coming out and stuff. What else? Yeah, that's about it for the night. Hopefully that match ends up being at the Royal Rumble instead, and we get an actual winner. Royal Rumble stuff, Royal Rumble predictions, who's up for it. There's the Pitch Black match, LA Knight versus Bray Wyatt. Bray Wyatt, of course, I don't know what they're going to do with the Pitch Black match, but it's hopefully, they do something with it. Bianca versus Alexa Bliss for the Women's Championship. Bianca, and then Alexa goes all in on her character being evil and hurts Bianca. If they're going to do an Austin Theory versus Bobby Lashley, Austin Theory retains. And then you have, freaking after 20 years, Bobby Lashley versus Brock Lesnar at WrestleMania. That'd be great. The 30 Women Rumble match. They already announced people. It'd be funny if the Bellas talking shit is just like them not saying anything at all, but they're in the match. But people are saying it's like, oh, because they didn't get invited to Raw or they didn't get invited to the Royal Rumble, they're talking smack. It's like, all right, let them. What if Sasha Sasha Banks comes back at the Royal Rumble? That'd be great. What if any of the women from Japan or Impact Wrestling come to the Royal Rumble? That'd be great. The 30-man Royal Rumble match, statistics again show that number 27 always has a higher chance of winning, even though it's a 30 men. But number 27 is like average, on average. The winner of the Rumble is usually number 27. That's going to be Cody Rhodes. I'm calling it right now. Ooh. And, yeah. Anybody else? Anybody else has predictions for the Royal Rumble? Who's going to win it? Who's going to take it all? Let me know. Comments. Or stuff. Francesco 626, thank you for stopping in. Too sweet. Alright, I'm gonna end this show, not this show. Before I go, I want to give a big shout out to everybody listening. Everybody in the chat, y'all are awesome as hell. Miniature Dancer 51 holding it down. Modding the chat. Being awesome as hell. Thank you for doing that. Big ol' shout out to Good Girl. Who else? Big extra shout out to Goody Girl, Aquarius Bullshit, Hydrangea Water, the Queen Lady Ka, Philin Z23, and of course our friend Miniature Dancer. I'm not gonna tell anybody else the reason why they get shout out. I'm just letting you know that they're awesome people, and if you're not following them yet, you should follow them. They're amazing. Go. Yeah. Okay. Thank you for listening to the show and supporting us. You can find us on all other sort of social platforms at our Linktree, linktree.com/From Under the Apron. It has the link to our network, our Twitter, Instagram, YouTube socials, plus our Good Pod, Spotify, and iTunes accounts, where you can listen to us as well as leave us a comment or a 5-star review, which helps us be discovered by other fans of wrestling and podcasts. Check out the show notes for links to other podcast trailers that you heard on this episode. Send us a message of your favorite wrestling stories, questions, comments, ratings, or requests by email. It is from undertheapron@gmail.com, and I will do my best to get to them and answer accordingly. Thank you for listening and being a huge part of this community. You guys are amazing. You guys are awesome. I am proud of all of you. Join us next time for more stories, movies, and TV show reviews, as well as wrestling, when we come to you from Under the Apron. Y'all are amazing. I love you guys. Thank you. Big heart.